On Snowball Earth, nothing can stop the cold and the ice except for Mother Earth herself by generously providing hot springs amongst the landscape. Thank you everybody for joining me. My name is Ryan and this is Vintage Story Snowball Earth. And we are back for episode 3 of our Polar Challenge. I hope that you're enjoying the series so far. If you've missed any episodes, check the link in the description below. But we are standing up here on top of a hill, and as you can see, there is a single hot spring up here. And of course, we were able to sleep next to it in the last one. It's a fantastic source of warmth. You can see my body temperature is maxed out at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, so we are very toasty. And in fact, I want to give a shout out to all the commenters who've been tuning in and leaving suggestions or just support for the series. Appreciate you guys. A couple in particular I want to shout out. One person mentioned that hopefully we can set up a spa, and in fact that is going to be possible. See, now as we step into the hot spring, my health rejuvenates instead of goes away, or we don't burn up, so to speak, like you do in a normal hot spring. And that is thanks to a mod we've got. It's called Healthy Hot Springs. So these are truly going to be a great source of healing and respite for us. Maybe a little bit overpowered in a sense, but normally you just totally avoid these or they have no function whatsoever in a gameplay. I thought this might be a nice little change of pace because we're definitely going to be setting up our eventual base next to some hot springs for sure. But other than that, of course, one of the real challenges in this series is going to be acquiring clay. That's something we haven't even seen yet, and a shout out to the commenter who mentioned there is a mod for the ability to make clay from dirt and some other materials, so we might end up using that. But of course I want this series to be a challenge, and considering that point, I'm actually thinking of uninstalling one particular mod, but well, we'll discuss that later as we come to it. But for now, let's decide what we want to accomplish today. I think we've obviously still got to keep traveling, searching for just the perfect base location as well. I'm not going to settle for anything less with this series. And of course, it is a limited life series. We're down to 18 remaining from a starting point of 20 lives. So I died twice in the first episode. So that's another goal for today, is just to avoid dying at all, of course. That'll be a goal for every episode. But let's head south. I think there's definitely more hot springs down here. I don't really want to set up a base in the ice and snow, but maybe, if the hot springs are there, maybe with a cave nearby, if we can go underground. So I definitely want to investigate all the hot springs just to see. And we're going to have to do a bit of traveling. Honestly, it might be best just to travel up here amongst the peaks instead of going down into the scrubland and the sparse forests. As long as we've got a little bit of food, I've got a few berries, we could whip up a quick fire. But yeah, this way our greatest threat is falling into a crevasse or something. Obviously polar bears are going to be a threat too, because they do blend into the environment. Sometimes you see a polar bear, it might just be sleeping or something, looks like a mound of snow. Walk right up to it, so definitely going to avoid that. Hey, look at that, potential prey items, but we're not really equipped right now for it. So yeah, our goal is just to move as quickly as you can from one point to another. And let's just make sure, yeah, if we cut south now, like I said, it might be our safest bet. But of course, travel isn't going to be much to see. Just a bunch of white snowy peaks and some ice. So let's flash forward to the other side, or at least to the next interesting landmark. Alright, well, we are just north of the hot springs that we were headed towards on the map. But traveling through the mountains wasn't too eventful. I'm just checking out a bit of the forest here, seeing maybe if I can spy out any more of those little raccoon dens. Those are going to be so valuable for us. But we've got a neighbor over here. Yeah, these goblins turn out are not too bad. Not too bad. We can take them out with a spear thruster too. The orcs are a little bit better, or a little bit tougher in terms of their overall offense. I've been killed once by an orc, so I'm going to avoid the orcs most likely, for now at least. Once we settle down, we can start thinking about armor, even if it's just some primitive stuff with firewood and grass, but of course, yeah, we're going to have to start going out and look for some copper too. Now, I've actually found copper on the map, which we'll take a look at once we settle in. I just want to keep moving for now, but yeah, we might have to travel pretty far to get back to it, so might not be a bad idea to just continue to travel around. Of course, going out into the world is always the most dangerous part, isn't it? That's when we get ourselves in trouble. But let's see. All right, we'll take a peek at the map. Starting to get chilly. Yeah, but our first set of hot springs are dead ahead. And I can see the bacterial mat just there. So luckily, it's really not too far from a nice resource-rich area in terms of that small little pine trees. Okay, let's pop over here. What we really are looking for, let's dive right in. Just get warmed up. Oh, how nice and refreshing it sounds to jump in a hot spring like this after getting chilled to the bone, traveling over glaciers and frozen tundra. But let's see here. Do we need to whip up any tools while we're next to this little resource of warmth? We've got a backup axe. I've got a couple of extra spears. I think we're good for now on tools. Inventory's pretty full. Okay, we've got more hot springs over there. We'll definitely want to check out, but I would like to find some actual caves. Is that what that may be? Let's peek over this way, see what that indentation appears to be. Yeah, okay, great. Is this bauxite? Oh, wow. We've already discovered bauxite and a nice little cave that goes fairly deep. Now, of course, being on a Homo Sapiens map, drifters and underground monsters are not an issue for us here at all. And yes, I know you might be saying to yourself, well, you've got a map. How are you on Homo Sapiens? Of course, that's something we determined during World Gen. So I have made it a bit easier on myself putting the map on, but all right. Want to fall off here, so we'll bridge over with a little bit of dirt. I don't love this cave, so we're going to keep looking around. Maybe we'll head over to that other set of hot springs, but first I think there's another little indentation here. We've got a couple of caves just over this way. Let's backtrack to the tree line again. I like that idea. Maybe a little bit closer to the trees we can explore this cave and see what it has to offer. Okay, we've definitely got some caves here, just on the edge of the forest, which is nice. I see something growing too. Let's check this out. A fracture berry will ripen in 13 days. Interesting. Wildcraft fruits and nuts. Yeah, so you can't actually move these either, I don't believe. But alright, let's grab our torches. Those in the offhand. More bauxite. This is a great find. What is that? Petrified log. That is so cool. What is this brought to us by? I'm not sure, but that is fascinating. That might be a vanilla block. Wicked. I've never seen that. Okay, we can go deeper. Now, really what we're looking for is lava. Obviously, we're probably a little too close to the surface, but I don't know for sure because I did set geothermal activity up high. Okay, we've just got a little spring of water down here. Let's not douse our torch. But interesting. So that's going to be a no-go. We got some flint. I will definitely take that. Yeah, we might be using some stone tools for a while, unfortunately. So andesite is also a really beautiful stone for building. Oh, crap. But the bauxite is eventually going to be required for making steel. That's one of the big parts. Oh, and we're sitting on limestone here too. Wow, limestone layer right on top of andesite, so that's huge. I mean, limestone is great for a lot of different things, mainly for our leather production. We're going to need that. So, wow. Yeah, we're definitely going to settle in this general vicinity And I think I'm going to take the opportunity while we're underground to mark it on the map, just in case I do decide to move, to a different location. Because who knows, we could go to a different biome as well, but like rock biome, I should say. So either way, let's mark it here, and yeah, I'm going to set up a little campsite because we're getting hungry, so it's time to cook some poultry, maybe even do a little bit more hunting. Oh boy, well, I was just about to come down into the forest and chop a few trees, but I think those are orcs over in that direction. Oh, starting to starve. Thought something hit me for a second. Oh, we got flint and the limestone here, but I just need to chop down a small pine tree or any pine tree, and because I have no firewood on me, I need to do this safely without getting attacked. This tree is a little bit too big. I've got this axe here and then a backup, but all right, let's try this one. Please don't attack me. Alright, so far so good. We can heal up real nicely with our hot springs. Okay, I'm just trying to keep my eyes on the periphery here. Okay, good, beautiful. I was worried that would break both axes. Whoa, okay, we've got what appears to be a goblin on us. Let's backtrack to the hot spring. Okay. Yeah, they de-aggro pretty easily. Those guys do, obviously. Nothing like a bear. Those things never stop chasing. So, you can see I've got our spot marked with a little green house on the mini-map. Let's head back there. And yeah, we've got to get this food on the grill. But where was it? There's a couple different little spots. Here we go. Okay, yeah. Beautiful. Okay, we'll set this up, cook up some meat, and let's see, what time is it? 4 p.m.? Oh boy, we might have to sleep here, or I might even head over here and just sleep right next to the hot spring for the night. That'll actually be easier to warm ourselves up. Yeah, you know what? In fact, let's head back over there for now. We don't have to sleep in a cave, I should say. And this place is going to warm us. Whoa. Okay, it's definitely not safe, so on second thought, what I might do instead of the cave for now, might set up a little igloo just right next to the hot springs. Because we've got nice open visuals here, nothing can really sneak up on me. And of course, I can just drop right in and warm and heal. Yeah. Alright, and we do have a cave. So, alright, that's probably what we'll do. But first things first, we got to get this guy to shut up so we can start cooking. And I'll place a fire and get the chicken cooked. Well, just putting together some of the tools we're going to need here. And I've got a small structure built out of ice and snow, but it's not much to look at yet, and it's not actually finished. But I think we're going to be able to sleep hopefully safely here without getting attacked, even if I can't get the walls up. We'll just see about that. We're going to have to find out the hard way. But I do plan on at least finishing it off in the morning, getting the 4 walls up, and we'll use some grass. I'll have to go harvest that, but again, we're safe to recover in here. Pretty nice, goes pretty quickly too. Of course, it doesn't refill my hunger bar, so you can see that's going to be an issue. Yeah, I've already eaten the last of the chicken that was cooked. And of course, we've got enemies all around us that don't happen to drop anything worth eating too, sadly. Although I don't know how eating goblin and orc really appeals to me, so even if they did drop some sort of meat, I might end up just pitching it. No, I'm kidding. We would have to try it, but right now, we might be able to get away with just using some barren soil to finish it off. It's going to be the ugliest igloo ever built by mankind, but luckily we're the only man on Earth, or woman for that matter, so nobody's here to actually judge us, except for you guys out there. Alright, so that's actually a decently high wall. Like I said, I've only got the 1 hay bale, but yeah, at least this way I don't have to worry about us getting attacked. I think we'll be okay with this level of walls. Maybe a bear could get over these. I don't know about the goblins and the orcs, but let's see. It's 8 p.m. Let's test it out. If I wait too much longer, obviously we'll probably start to starve while we're sleeping. So let's flash to the morning. Okay, eyes are open. Of course, we're very cold, but again, we can fix that. Alright, let's see what it's like out here. Just hope no polar bears have wandered into this region. Alright, so we're fine on the healing. We do need to warm up, so we'll just sit here for a moment. Alright, let me check out the map. So this is probably the best hunting ground. The trees are alright, but of course we have much less visibility. So this looks like it could be an interesting region for us. Let's head westward. Maybe we'll check out this lake over here. I've got full hand baskets at the moment, but yeah, we'll definitely want something else. I think I'm going to put these on the walls. I like to hang these up initially as opposed to making rope out of them, just because I don't know how many I'll need. Also, we can drop this, and oh yeah, I forgot, I've actually got the chest on my back too, so let's place that. Yeah, we got a few things in here, but this will make me faster too, not having to carry this around. I'm going to try and avoid eating the fat for now, but we might have to get some of that. We'll see how it goes. Alright, the bones. Barren soil can be tossed. I'm going to keep this on me for starting fires. Alright, well, that's about as good as we can get. The bones are going to be extremely valuable. I'd like to leave those behind. Tell you what, we can actually just make another chest here. Yeah, we'll do that. That's totally fine. We'll place it and drop off a few more items. But like I said, we got to get out there and do a little bit of hunting here today, people. So let's head on over, being as absolutely safe as we can. 3 spears is probably good enough, but yeah, let's move before my stomach starts to kill me. Alright, and make sure we're heading in the right direction. Adjust accordingly. Light levels are fairly low, but if we keep our head about us, we should be good. The scary part is going up hills. That's what I realized, because when you're going up, polar bear could be just on the other side of that rise, and you don't see it until it's too late, and it's aggroed on you. So I like to kind of go around, yeah, if possible. Alright, let's keep moving. Gosh, we got trouble over on our left in the form of possible polar bears. We got orcs and goblins on the right. See if we can stand here for a second and just peek into the trees. Don't see anything interesting yet. A couple of birds would be great. Some penguins, also equally viable. Very easy to hunt. And they do make a rather annoying noise, so I'm not too worried about exterminating their species. I mean, just hunting a few in balance of nature. Alright, what do we got? Let's get that. Also, yeah, we should be looking for, obviously, clay. Ooh. Now that looks more like a fox variant. Oh man, we got some juicy penguins too. Alright, we gotta be careful, because I don't know the story on those things is. They don't look like proper wolves, but let's at least try to pick off 1 or 2 here. Oh shoot. Okay, just went for the penguin. Just check behind me. Don't want to make, get bitten from the back. Well, he's aggroing on the penguins. Doesn't mean he won't get on top of me, though. Let's see if we can scavenge a little bit. Taking a big risk here. Not being familiar with these type of dogs. Alright, this is a emperor penguin. Oh, lovely. Lovely. That is so nice. Alright, we're going to move on. I'm not going to push my luck there. Eventually, we'll start to, test our might against all the wildlife and fantasy creatures, but we need at least some copper armor or something before I take on some wolves/dogs. But, okay, that's a good start. I'm not ready to turn back and start cooking just yet. Oh, god dang it, I thought that was more penguins. It's goblins. Of course, I'm not totally against taking out a few goblins. If we can get them one by one, Let's eat this fat. I've got a couple pieces stored at home. That'll give us a little bit more time out here. Yeah, of course, we've got X skills too, so we are building combat experience as well, which is definitely going to help us. And trust me, it takes a long time to get enough experience with combat to actually, you know, feel substantially buffed with the X skills mod, so I'll take this advantage. These guys are weak. So far I've only seen them drop like thread maybe, but who knows, we might get lucky. Crowberry? Yeah. We've also got some berry bushes. Too cold to flower. Wow. Cattails over here look interesting. Let's take these guys on. Look how... I mean, I can walk right up to this guy. Okay. So I think I had 7.7 combat experience. Let's check it again. Yeah, 9.9 now under the combat. So it's definitely going up. And I think it's worthwhile taking out the easy prey. At the very least, they won't spawn as quickly in this area, I hope. It'll be a little bit safer for us to hunt. Alright, that one's sunk to the bottom. Not going to chase it in. Let's keep looking for some more easy prey. Wow, okay, well, these emperor penguins actually hit kind of hard. I was just able to kill 3 more of them, but one of them actually hit me back. And you can see my health now is almost at 50%, so let's move back to our little shelter. I think it was this one. I should have marked the campsite, actually, but not to worry. Again, just traveling back over the hills here, but I think it's safe because we've kind of already traveled this way once, so let's just hope nothing is really ever truly safe in this crazy world. But we're headed back to fill up our bellies, and now that we can get this campfire going, I can just let the food cook. I'll probably finish off our little structure here, but this is definitely not necessarily going to be the last place we settle. Although, I tell you, this limestone, the bauxite, really does make it an attractive spot for sure, for sure. So, could be our location. Let's see, what do we got? More flints. So far, no luck on any more copper or clay, though. And I tell you, the clay could become a real issue here. Once we get truly settled in, and I actually make a little bit of the crappy armor, yeah, clay is going to have to be our focus. And honestly, just simply sitting down and panning might be my best opportunity for it, you know? Now let's see. And speaking of mods, I have mentioned previously that I've got a mod for making bony soil. So that's going to be something we might be able to whip together, just depending on how many bones it requires. And of course, that'll up our chances too for a temporal gear. So, yeah, ooh, the nice warmth of our wonderful little... And let's jump in here to the hot spring. Let's get healed up. Love it. Yeah, so I think panning is probably something we're going to have to do at least overnights from now on. As long as I can heal up in the hot spring, that means that we can just forgo sleeping for a couple of evenings. And yeah, we're going to have to pan. I will need a bit more wood, but that's okay. We can make a quick jaunt into the forest. So let's see. Now that we're here, yeah, let's get this meat cooking. And oh my gosh, 7 pieces does sound like a lot, especially since I've got a nice little stack of fat too. But we're going to have to get back out there and keep hunting those penguins, no doubt about it. All right, that's lit. We can drop off the bones, the feathers. We'll keep the pelts now too, especially since we've got limestone. Yeah, once we get a saw going, we can literally start barrels like immediately. So that's good news. And we'll put the fat away here. All right, I probably want to whip together another spear too, because one broke while I was fighting the penguins. But otherwise, it's just time to start putting a roof on this disgusting igloo here. Alright, the food is done, and it's been fully consumed. Still not totally healed up yet, so I think it's time to go get some wood, and I'm going to need some more grass too, so we can use these hay bales for a door. I also realized that since I'm literally sitting on probably millions and millions of tons of limestone. I don't need this shell anymore here, so I'm just going to toss it. The snow is kind of useless too. I'll keep the packed glacier ice for any more building, but it's actually kind of nice. I mean, it's like using glass. I can literally see if there's a polar bear outside of my little hut before we leave. So, yeah. Baby, we'll definitely incorporate this kind of stuff into our final build. Yeah, even if we do settle here, I'm going to rebuild our structure at some point. But let's head down to the forest, being extremely cautious. And I can actually kind of see my structure on the map too, so I'm not going to mark it right now. It's probably pretty obvious where it's at, but okay, let's be careful. I didn't build another spear yet, but we'll have to do that soon. Let's see if we can get just a big tree chopped down. We'll be good to go. Let's make sure not to chop one that has any resin on it. Ooh, resin right here. Or especially one that has one of the little holes, the raccoon holes. If you are not familiar with what I'm talking about, it's introduced from the Primitive Survival mod, and it's usually packed with seeds. Sometimes you actually find like little tools in them too, but they rejuvenate, or they will, I'm just going to put res here. Yeah, they'll refill over time, so we need to mark them and return to them, just like we do with the resin. And I believe they can occur in any kind of tree, not just pine trees, but oof, alright, I want to stay far from that thing. Let's just take down this tree if possible here. Oh boy, it's always scary doing this. Alright, there we go. Grab that, and let's retreat back to our little place here. Just up the hill a little bit so I can see. Alright, very good, very good. I should also, yeah, like I said, we need a bunch of grass for the hay, but I believe that's also going to be required for the armor, right? Let's look at firewood in the book here. Yeah, so I'm talking about the improvised body armor here. And of course we need a pan too, so I'll have to cut another tree down for the actual logs. Alright, well, we're not done. For some reason it's not selecting the different recipes. Or is it? I don't know. Either way, we'll worry about that later. Oh my gosh, we got neighbors. Let's just go down the hill a bit more. He's not aggroed on me, but we're not quite ready to take on those guys that actually have weapons. The goblins are easier, less of a threat because they're empty-handed, but not those guys. Alright, let's be careful. Just in case. I don't even think my axe is going to be able to knock down another tree. Ugh, I've got to come up to the top of this hill and make an axe real quick. Okay, whip together another knife, spear, and an axe as well. So let's put that stuff back up there. Okay, let's continue to try and hunt for resources. Oh, we got penguins. Alright, let's take them out. Got some flint there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the flint gets covered by snow, but if it was like copper or lead or something, it won't be covered with snow. So it should be fairly obvious. But, whew, alright, there's our dinner. That's great. These penguins are the best. They don't run from you like most fowl. Oh, now, yeah, look at that. Oh, they do get aggressive sometimes. I think the males do. Males. Of course, that's true with actual roosters as well. I'm pretty sure, yeah, roosters in the base game will actually attack you as well, occasionally. Not every time, but oh boy. Yeah, here we go. Now, I'm also not going to be using the bones for tool handles, even though I am well aware that we can do that. I think we'll throw out the feathers for now. Yeah, but bones are just going to be way too important for other crafting resources now. I mean, they're very important just regular gameplay, but with the mods we've got too, they're even more important. So, let's get one of these trees knocked down. And I've got to get every little sprig of grass too. I need to be cutting that as well. Alright, and praying to all the while that we don't get attacked while we're out here. Looks like there's a bunch of good grass just over here, so let's grab this. Okay, my bags are full again. Gosh darn it, I'm going to get rid of the packed glacier ice, that's fine. Okay, we should be good. I might end up throwing out some of the penguin furs or whatever, because I'm sure we'll get more of those. But let's take down another tree after I check it real quick. Okay, it's clear, no resin on it. Let's grab this. We're also seeing some interesting trees from another one of the mods. These thinner trees, they almost resemble like a fruit tree, but obviously that's not what they are. Still, I think if we chop them down directly, we get firewood. Like this one here. No, that's a larch tree. Yeah, no, these little larch trees here. Let's try this, see what we get. I think it's just straight firewood, which is always good. Oh, okay. No? Interesting. We got large logs. Okay, yeah, part of the Wildcraft trees and shrubs. We'll grab those. Maybe we can just turn it into some wood. Alright, let's head back to the shelter. Actually, I'm going to take time to cut up some of this grass, but I think we're relatively safe here. God, I say that. I'm going to get a orc battle hammer to the back of my skull. Well, safe from any orc battle hammers for now, but there's a whole bunch of penguins. And yet when I got close to them earlier, I heard some wolves. So we got to be super careful. I'm not going to take out this whole flock, but another one or two of these things would be great. Alright, let's try and avoid getting attacked. Is that a male? That's a female. I don't think she'll come at me. Oh, Christ, I was wrong. They're very slow, though. Maybe if we just move quickly, quickly. Yeah, this is a lot of good meat. Oh, they're coming for me. Sorry, stupid penguins. Not today. Alright, they're freaking me out a little bit. Let's get away from those. I don't think it actually dropped any meat. Well, regardless, we're getting back up the hill. Okay, nothing there. So, let's jump back to our little igloo. Okay, there it is, dead ahead. Man, oh man, they talk about snow blindness too being a thing. Tell you what, it's nice getting back over here where there's a little bit of variation in the color. Yeah, looking at nothing but white snow does start to hurt your eyes, even if it's just on a computer monitor. But let's go ahead and throw that in there, get this lit up right away. And I think it's time we whip together that armor. I keep talking about it. But before I do, let's make one more bale of hay. Excellent. Now we've got a door. Quick and easy. They break really easy with an empty hand, so that's why hay bales are great for impromptu doors like this, even on a cellar. They work really well. But, alright, let's grab this. And again, I'm going to open the guidebook. That's not the recipe. I'm not sure... My guidebook, okay, that worked, but something's going on with it. Huh. Okay, that one worked. I can look into how to make the stone anchor, but not the improvised body armor for some reason. Let me see if I can just look it up independently. Alright, that's a little bit better, and boom. So we've got the piece there. Is there a headpiece for it? Let me find the other piece of... I think there's another piece. Okay, no, I'm incorrect. There is no other piece. I think I'm thinking of the little straw hat you can make, which is not going to help us, but there we go. Okay, we've got that on, and it should provide a little bit of protection there. It's protection tier 0, but that's okay with me. Oop, okay, this is cooking up nicely. Let's grab a bit of that. Excellent. Now, I actually did get some pine seeds, so we're definitely going to be saving those. That away, save those, yeah, and save the resin. We've got the fat. I'm going to attempt to try and keep this nice little stockpile of fat without eating it if possible, but we might get desperate. So either way, let's make a pan now. Oh god, this recipe book's probably still not working for me. Let's see, should I have marked that petrified wood that we found too? So we could have retrieved it at a later point. I forgot to, but it is out there somewhere. Okay, now it's working. Good, so very simple recipe, but once we've got a pan, all things suddenly become possible in this world. Now, I don't know if there's anything else I want with these logs right away, so I might just convert them into firewood. But then again, do I have an extra space? Yeah, we'll keep a little bit of pine log there for crafting purposes. Now, next thing we have to do is test and see if we can actually pan in the hot spring water. I don't see why we couldn't, but who knows. Regardless, we should be able to get some soil and stuff. Now, wait a second. Oh, sludgy gravel. I don't think we can pan this stuff up here. No, pretty sure that's a no, but all right, let's get our food, put the meat in there. All right, we're looking pretty good. Oh, I wanted to test out this larch too. Let's just see. Yep, firewood. All right, well, that's helpful if we want just straight up firewood. Where did it go? I only ended up with one piece. I'm not sure what just happened to that. Okay, that was weird. Glitched out, maybe because it's modded wood. It didn't actually produce it. Or am I just going crazy? Anyway, oh, so much to deal with, including disappearing firewood, folks. Now, good thing about this is we can just go ahead and place it to get it out of our inventory. But, yeah. Now I guess the hard part is going to be discovering... Oh, I bet it went into the fire. Did I have that open when I chopped the firewood? Well, either way, who cares about the wood? Let's see if we can find some sand and gravel. Okay, well, if we want sand and gravel, I figured we'd come to the lake shore, and we did get lucky. There's some limestone gravel right here. Now, the drop tables, or the loot tables, I should say, for sand and gravel are the same. They are different for bony soil. Obviously, bony soil is better in some regards. It has a higher drop chance for things like temporal gears, certain other valuable materials, but ultimately we should be able to get most of what we need just from this regular stuff. But I'm definitely going to craft up some bony soil at some point, so we'll be looking at that recipe in the near future, no doubt about it. But I want to just get down here and get enough of this stuff to last us through the night without getting killed, because like I said, I'd probably prefer to forego sleep for a night or two and just spend it panning. But don't worry, I won't torture you with the panning. I will just show you the loot once it's all said and done. But I know a few folks out there enjoy the calming ease of just laying back and panning. Now, I've actually got an ASMR video devoted to panning on my channel, but either way, let's not dwell on that too much. Just a fun little meme project, basically, that I put together. Alright, so we're getting a decent stack here. We're almost at a full 64. And I do not like being down here in this scrub brush, the bottom of this hill, especially in the evening time as we lose light. So I think that'll do us. Man, I'm still in the back of my mind constantly hoping we stumble across some clay, but so far nothing. It's got to be in this world though, right? Around some of these lake sides maybe? Well, we'll just see. We'll keep searching. Like I've said several times, this is not necessarily going to be our final home base, and even if it is, we're going to have to do some significant exploring too at some point for other resources. But alright, let's just get home, and we'll see if we can pan inside the water. Yeah, that's going to be the real test, because I'd like to just be able to set up right here. Let's knock out this snow. Alright, and hey, look at that. It's working. Immediately we can start panning. Yep, look at that. We're getting some limestone stones. And nothing too valuable there, but hey, our first piece of copper ore. And that's another great reason to pan too. We can get clay and extremely useful materials like copper. In fact, in a lot of my playthroughs, like the first 20 or 40 bits of copper I get come from panning, you know? So it might end up being the same way with the clay too in this world now that it's become such a rarity. But nonetheless, guys, I think this is a good spot to end today's episode for the Snowball Earth Challenge, but it's been a good one. We've made some progress, certainly, find a nice little spot to settle down temporarily, and I didn't die. At least, not yet. There's a few seconds left in the video, but first of all, I want to give a big shout out to one of my Patreons, Helminia, a wonderful artist who created a beautiful digital piece of art based on the very first episode where I died eating a poison berry. So I should be having that on the screen for you guys to enjoy right now. Thank you so much, Helminia. Your artwork is great. I love it so much. It's also what I use for my multiplayer series when we visit our multiplayer server, one of her pieces of art too. So thanks again. And of course, thanks to you guys for tuning in. We're going to have many more episodes of the Snowball Earth Challenge. So make sure you like, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one.